Hi there, it's Gwen. I'm going to do a review of the GI Sweeper, the gastrointestinal restoration from 25,000 year cycle with Brother Z. Let me go ahead and initiate my camera. I'm going to try my best to figure out how to do the camera. Ah, okay. I am on camera and it works. Okay, good. Now, let me try to remember what I was going to say. Oh, yes. Today is Friday, February the 24th. The year is 2023, and it's about 8:12 p.m. Okay, I'm going to talk about the GI Sweeper. It's a gastrointestinal cleanser that Brother Z made on his website. He's with the apothecary section. I have a weird sound going. Okay, never mind. Don't pay attention to that. I'm not going to edit it out. We don't do edit. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with some background talking about it. Then I'm gonna talk about why you should take it or why I recommend it, and the symptoms and the results. So let's get some background. Give me a second. I'm putting some lotion on my hands because I just decided that my hands were very dry and I can't think straight with my hands dry. So I'm doing that. Thank you for waiting. Now let me see if I find the camera again. Okay, I'm on this part. The first two times I took it were taken incorrectly. So that's on me. What happened was that the first time I took it, I only took about a half of a teaspoonful. The full dose is a tablespoonful. But since I was a chicken and I've already tried many types of cleansers, I didn't know what kind of effect it would have, so I thought I would start off small. Now, a gastrointestinal cleanser or herbal laxative and things, that's been around a while. I mean, they were having those back in the 90s when with things like well fancy names like Smooth Move and Morning Thunder. And also they were starting with fiber breakfast bars like fiber enriched breakfast muffins and um, Fiber One and things like that. And I got it. I understood it. They also had probiotic and pills and things like acidophilus and stuff. And so with the herbal teas that they had, they were too harsh on me. So I had unpleasant symptoms and they cramped my tummy and all kind of stuff. So I found out that I couldn't really take those very well. A probiotic like acidophilus will mess me up too. I could take a digestive enzyme type. I could take that, and my favorite brand that I use went from about $5 or $6 to like $17 or so. So I don't get that no more. But I do have one of them that a probiotic kind. Let's see, this one. This is the one I can use if I want to. But yeah, most people take a digestive enzyme of some sort. But with this one, which was new to me, I didn't know how it would do. So I didn't want to take a lot. So I took about a half a teaspoonful, tiny bit. And it didn't have any adverse effects. The way it's made is that you can tell distinctly when it comes out. It goes in, it tastes terrible. Oh, I don't know what to do, what you have to do to fix the taste. But it's awful tasting, but it's good for you. Ugh, but it's bad tasting. Okay, so I took it, called myself following directions, but I didn't really follow directions. And I took it in there, and I saw that it just bring out. It did bring out some bulk, but not what I was expecting. But it was only a teaspoonful, so I was comfortable that it was good that I could take it. About a half a teaspoonful. So I think I put in a half a teaspoonful, and about 4 ounces came out. when I, and it's distinct, you can see it clearly. And then the next time I took it, I went on and took the tablespoonful, but I still didn't let it steep. When we were in his Zoom meeting that he would give on ethnocentric health, which was important, one of the other students or one of the other members in there asked more clarity on it, and he said that you could take it with a smoothie and you got to let it steep. I think he said that like that. I know he said he'd take it with a smoothie, but anyway, the way they were talking, I figured out that I wasn't letting it sit long enough before I was taking it. So as a result, the following times when I take it, describe it now, I'm gonna take this next time, which is actually the third time, as the first time, because the first two times I took it, it wasn't correct. So that's on me. I apologize to the world, but I was wrong. I was taking it wrong. Follow directions. So this time when I took it the third time, or rather from now on here, henceforth will be the first time, I let it sit in my little 4 ounce cup and I watch it change properties. It kind of dissolved a little and thickened a little. And then when it got, I poured boiling water. He said use warm water. I put it on the boiling water and I poured that in my little cup and then let it cool off till it got to a point where I could drink it. And when he said that you could mix it in a smoothie, that opened the door for me to put other stuff in it to try to make it palatable. It never got palatable, but it got more reasonable. I sprinkled a little bit of salt and some sugar in there. What did I put? I put sweet and low. I didn't care. I wanted to get it in me and see what it could do. And then I did that late afternoon, and it came out about 10 o'clock. What changed was that when it did come out, I had wanted to eat. I had planned to eat some beans and two pieces of fruit, like a pear, beans and a pear. But instead, I wound up eating two oranges and two pears because I didn't really want the beans at that time. So about 3 hours later, I ate the beans because I got hungry. But I was satisfied with the two oranges and the two pears. This size orange, this size orange, and a Bosque pear, just a regular size Bosque pear. About this size for the pear. Two of those. Maybe maybe a little bit smaller than this size. Okay. I have fresh fruit all around me so I won't grab anything else, go grab something wrong. And I got a section on there about appetite changes so far. But anyway, the next morning when I got up, it was what I noticed was that my mouth was cleaner. When he talked about it on his in his presentation, he talked about one of the things that would happen is that your mouth would be cleaner because he talked about the film in the mouth was actually where it came up through your digestive tract and it builds the film rather than what I was thinking is that the film was just a natural part of your mouth as you slept overnight, morning mouth, as we call it. Everybody I know has that, and I've always had it. So I would clean. I still have the film on my mouth, but it's easier to get off. Um, Now I just use plaques that pre-brush and some salt or baking soda to brush my mouth out, like my tongue, root of my mouth, and the insides of my cheeks, and then brush my teeth. And then, but anyway, it helps. It comes off more. It comes off easier because I would be scrubbing. I have what they call a. I even have a thing called a tongue brush, which is a small bristled flat brush that I use on my tongue, and I got several of them. And even my dental hygiene, I rotate out 4 toothbrushes. Use a different one each time so that each brush has a chance to completely dry between uses because I care about dental hygiene. And one of the things I care about is having that terrible film on my tongue and getting that off. This time it was much easier to come off, so much so that I noticed how easy it was. I run around on automatic pilot a lot of times, and so when something different. It has to be different to attract my notice. Because if everything's flowing smooth as the way I expect, I just go ahead on automatic pilot. But if something pulls my attention, that's because it's different than what a normal pattern is, then I notice that. And that one of the first thing I noticed was a cleaner mouth on that day. But I still do have a film on my mouth. Let's see. So that's part of the difference. Um, but when I that's part of the difference, and that's one of the reasons I thought that you should know about it, know about this thing. When I had that appetite change, I said, okay, this is different. That means something. Um, Altogether, I eliminated about 80 ounces or 5 pounds, and it was over. I took 4 doses over a 5-day period. When I saw my appetite change, and then I that evening, and then when I had a clean mouth, I went and changed my grocery list. I took off the scones and I took off the English muffins and the jam. I was planning on eating English muffins for breakfast, and jam and scones and things like that for breakfast rather than, like bacon and eggs and stuff, which I had long stopped. But I found that I wouldn't eat oatmeal every day and things like that. So I thought English muffins and scones would do. I took that off the list because after I done took that nasty tasting stuff, I was not going to be putting stuff in my tummy that'll build up again. So when I eliminated that 20 ounces, I said, okay, I need to do it again so that I could keep pushing the stuff out of my body. So over that 4-day period, 5-day period, I took 4 doses. The largest dose was about 30 ounces, and the smallest, which was the last one, was about sorry, the largest elimination was about 30 ounces. But each time I took it properly. And so the last elimination was about 12 ounces, and it stayed in overnight while it worked. And it came out 12 ounces. And so that with that last bunch of the 12 ounces, I figured I could just stop for now. I do plan on doing this periodically for the rest of my life, either do it with his or somebody's like it, because it's clear that you need to eliminate like that and get a good GI cleanse. It's excellent. It's the best one I've used of all of them. The other kind are just regular like laxative type things that will just take what the loose food that's in your intestinal tract. This actually went down inside. You could, and I think that's part of the advantage of it being thicker when you take it down. And I say, do whatever what you have to do, every trick you could think of to get that in you because you need it. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, 4 or 5 days, and you can tell when it's coming out. It's very distinct. I could tell you all the shape and size and things like that, but I suspect everybody's, depending on what they've been consuming, would be different. I don't know, and so I don't have no problem describing everything in detail because it's fascinating to me, but I think you would have a problem hearing about it. So I'll just say it's distinct, and you can tell when it does come out. And well, you can tell when it comes out. I have a link that I'm going to put in the description box up to his website. And so for now, I'm just going to show you how to find it. And this is his website. And you want to go to Indigenous Apothecary. Now, see if it can, it's not listening to me. Oh, it's because I think I'm reading it on Word. Okay. Well, anyway, you have to go to Indigenous Apothecary and then go to the GI Sweeper. Or else I'm already on it. Oh, I was already on the right page. Yeah, but when you do go to Indigenous Apothecary, then go to GI Sweeper, and that's where you get it. Okay, and there's other stuff here that I haven't taken yet, And I do intend to get more stuff. I might not write another review, but I do intend to get more stuff because the stuff works and it's worth getting. So I'm going to close out of this. All right. Now, why? I wanted to do this because it led to better health. Now, by better health, I mean that what he was talking about was how you weren't absorbing your nutrients that you're taking because of the film that's on your intestinal wall. So when he said that, that was one of the missing links that I was thinking about. Now, every human being, as far as I know, has knows something about nutrition or should. And I've been reading nutrition books since I was 14 years old, and I'm almost 70 now. So I've been looking at that. I even used to teach it, and as a Air Force instructor teaching food service, one of the chapters was nutrition. And even then, back in the 70s, I said most of today's health problems are due to what you eat. However, in knowing all of that, and to include all the books, I mean, I got a signed copy of Dr. Layla Africa's book, and I'm just tickled to death about that, plus chapters of it. Even before Dr. Atkins came out, there was this book called Everything You Know Wanted to Know About Energy, but was afraid to ask by Nora Hayden. And she had Nora Hayden's Dynamite Milkshake in there, and it's a high protein milkshake with no sugars and no carbs, because she was, even then back in the 70s, like 1977, they were talking about sugars and carbs being bad for you. So that's been a long time, but things have changed and I've gotten off track, and the old knowledge I had wasn't enough, so I sought him and Radical Sisters, because they were it's indisputable that vegan organic is good for you, because I've seen too many people change their lives with going vegan and organic. But when I did, there was no result. And so I said I must be missing something. So I was seeking them out, trying to get her to write a cookbook and write recipes, because I just couldn't figure out what I was missing. And when he started talking about the GI cleanser and stuff, I said, okay, I might not be even absorbing the food that I'm eating, because everybody knows by now that America is a nation full of undernourished, overweight people. We already know about that, how our food doesn't have any nutrients in it. So people are eating much and more trying to get their nutrients. And so even the supplement field isn't substantiated, isn't helping everybody enough, because we're still obese and still big. Even the people exercising are huge. I mean, I be walking around looking at them exercising, sweating, and I'm going, that all in my head now. That all the good you look, you doing that. I see you jogging and stuff every day, and that's all the good you look. Uh-uh. A lazy person like me will never get out and walk. If that's all the good you gonna look after you did all that. And I see them. I see a later co-worker go to the gym and stuff, and she's still kind of got a little tummy and stuff. But now I'd say that if she's got an impacted GI tract, all the exercise in the world is not going to remove that, because you can't exercise your tummy. You can't exercise your gut. It's not a muscle you can control. So you have to cleanse it. And that's all about good health. So don't take this, don't be trying to do it to lose weight. Do it for good health. Okay. No matter what exercise you do, you can't change a dirty gut. Now, I got some websites here that I got off of Google, because it's just gonna tell you some of the concepts that came to my mind when he was describing what was going on with the insides, because I didn't think about it like that. I thought that just need a laxative every once in a while, not a good GI sweep, which is a good name for that, incidentally. So let me jump over here. I thought about how um, a pipe looks when there's hard water deposits. And that's what a pipe looks like when there's hard water lining it. Now, the way that works is that as a pipe is coming into your house, if the water coming in from the water treatment plant, the water plant, it's got hard water and bad chemicals in it, then let me go back. If that water has hard water and bad chemicals in it, then there's nothing you can do about it except filter your water as it's coming into your house. Or you're gonna drink that, and that's why it's a bad idea to drink unfiltered water, because this is what's going on inside of there. This right here is a hard water deposit that's on the inside of a pipe. See that? And you see those little bitty layers in there? Right there. Can you see those little bitty layers, those little bitty striations? That's different types of water problems that came in. Each layer is a different type of water. It might have more lead, more iron, more calcium, more lime. Just whatever it is, it's a different kind. And so I also think that's a similar effect that's going on inside someone's gut. That's why I won't tell you what came out of me, because my lifestyle is different than yours. And so my lining is going to be different, but no matter what it is, you're going to have a different striations inside there, depending on what period of time in your life was happening. This was happening. So I'm gonna back out of that one and look at these. You see that? That's what kind of things that comes in through your water pipes. And so I associate that with what's happening on the inside of the GI tract as you eat. And a laxative only will um, help with some of it, because like if I say a laxative would look something like that, where it only partially cleaned out stuff, and it cleaned out the stuff that you would taken at that time. Like this, the laxative would only clean out what it touches. Okay, and your nutrition would be coming in something like that, where it's only going through a little bitty portion of your GI tract and only touching a little bit of your gastrointestinal walls that are going to absorb nutrients. Now, what I figured out was that, and I could be wrong, and I'm sure he'll correct me, and that's fine. I don't have a problem. I want good information, not false information. So if I'm doing it wrong, I'll be happy to be corrected. Ego ain't like that. I got a big ego, but it ain't like that when I'm wrong. Okay, sometimes, but when that's coming in, you have to be absorbing something or else you die. But you're not absorbing enough to keep you from wanting more nutrients. So something is working, otherwise you die, because so you got to get something in, but it ain't what you need. It ain't enough. It's sort of like what I picture is this little bitty picture down here where the cursor's at, where that part of the intestinal wall would be absorbing nutrients, but the rest of it is gunked up stuff that needs to come out. So that's where I associated it as he was describing this build up on intestinal walls. Okay, so I'm gonna jump out of that picture and see if I can get to the next one. Okay, that to me was what I thought of it. Now I went on and did a Google search for pictures that show what it looks like, what your intestinal walls look like. He's got a picture and that of a graph that he uses, and it talks about the little things inside of your intestines that absorb. Let me see. And so I think I pulled up this one. Anybody can get these. And these little nodules, things up here that stick up, those are the things that are actually the things that absorb the nutrients. And when there's a lining on top of them, you can't absorb. Okay, you can't absorb your nutrients. It reminds me, his picture looks different than that, but they are showing the same thing. These little sticky yuppie things are what your stomach is using to absorb its nutrients. And if there's a coating on top of them, like we were talking about in the pipes, then nothing is going to get through. Nothing is going to get through there if this right here, if these little things aren't going to show. I mean, if these things, if this right here has a big old pile of goo on top of it, then you're you're not going to get your nutrients, and it's going to keep getting stickier. I mean, getting thicker. Just like in those pipes, it went on in layers, layer after layer after layer after layer after layer, and it got thicker and thicker and thicker. And that's what it is when you've been having a buildup for 25, 30 years. And I'm thinking my buildup has been at least about 30 years. Or I don't know, but I do know that it's been about, I guess, 10 years at least, if not going on for a very, very long time. I don't know how long. I do know that it was there, and I'm glad that a lot of it is gone. I think I still got some more to go, but I'm gonna give it some chance to settle down and have a gastrointestinal reset, so to speak, to build up the or to replenish the natural flora and fauna, as they call it, that I use that the body needs to properly digest. I'm not even taking my digestive enzyme because I don't want my intestinal tract to be dependent on it. So I'm working on trying to, get better health. So this is I'm gonna keep put a link in there, but this is just an idea or a picture of what that thing looks like, your intestines look like. And he has a graft in his that he shows, and it reminds me of this. I don't know what these little floaty looking things look are, and they scare me. So I'm not going to talk about them, but I could do more research on it. His looks something like that because his is a cross section of that. But if you got a layer of paste and goo on top of that, and that's gotten down in them cracks, you can't absorb. What's good about his is that it sits on that, it starts right there, but it goes down in there. And that's why I think I need to still do it so it can get all the way down to the cracks. And I did do 4 sessions in 5 days. And I think that was enough for now. So I'm come out of this one. Okay. Another thing he talked about was how there's a certain kind of microbe inside of your intestines that will control your appetite. It'll make you eat things that benefit it rather than yourself, which I associate with the creature that wants me to eat a carb because carbs don't really benefit me. And so, and he said that his sweeper will help eliminate the creature or the microorganisms. And when he talked about that, I said, oh, then I'm being treated like a zombie insect. And not now, people might not know what a zombie insect is. So I got some pictures loaded in to talk about what a zombie insect is. This is where a microorganism will make another micro, will make an insect do what it wants to benefit it. Oh, sorry. I'm going to come back to that one. That's what wheat paste is. Let me go back. Let me go to the zombie insect first and talk to you about that. And then I'm going to talk about wheat paste. Now, zombie insects are really insects that are just controlled by microorganisms that'll make them act in ways that would benefit it rather than what it would normally do. And it's mostly microorganisms that control insects. And I got a link here that's good that I'm gonna leave in the description box. In fact, I'm gonna copy and paste the whole thing, this whole um, word paper that in the thing in the description box when I publish. And these are 4 of them. Basically, this insect, for example, has a microorganism inside its brain that was put there by a parasite that makes him fight creatures that would jeopardize the larva for that parasite. And let me go back to the camera so you can see me too while I talk. There. Okay, and it's got another one. It's got a lot of them. I forgot what it does. I think they make this little ant climb up on a stalk so it can be eaten by another animal that could make the larva hatch inside, the parasite larva hatch inside of the animal. And when the animal poops out, the more of the creatures would get eaten by things that would be a host. And it's they're just the control. What did it say, do? Okay, this I can't hardly see it. And is infected with a parasite fungus that forces it to climb up twigs and blades of grass so that it spread parasitic spores to unsuspecting ants below. So it just spreads the spores down there. And I guess that's what these spores are on the ant. And this one, it makes the ladybug, the larva inside of it, the ones, most of them come out, but the one or two stay inside and they control the ladybug's limbs so that she twitches and guards these larvae that's below. And they got web pages of 10 or 15 of them. I think this is a wasp that takes control of the roach's body so that it can't defend itself, and it leads it around to do something or another. I forget, but they just got a lot of them. And recently, I saw one about a cicada, a zombie cicada, where the fungus replaces its genitalia and it makes it hypersexual anyway, so that it can go and rub itself on other bugs, on other cicadas to spread the spores, so that it can reproduce. So when he said that the fungus, rather the creature inside, can control your appetite center and make you crave things that benefit it, that wasn't a very big stretch for me to understand that kind of concept. So I was glad that excuse me, my appetite has changed a little bit, and I'm glad that I immediately took the carbohydrates off the list, the two carb type things. Now I'm gonna talk about wheat paste because I think of carbohydrates or wheat as wheat paste. That's the thing that you use to make paper mache and wallpaper. And it's really, and it says, how do you make wheat paste? I'm gonna leave the link in there, but basically you make wheat paste by boiling water and mixing flour in it, and it turns into a paste, and you use that to glue. You use that to glue stuff. And I'm gonna type in. I'm gonna see if I can get paper mache. Paper MACH, paper mache paste, or just paper mache. These are the kind of things you can make with paper mache and craft. It's just a craft paste. I'm just gonna put paper mache pieces. These are images for paper mache. See that? See how hard that is? It's a durable item that's made to make crafts with. And this is what you do. And you start off with newspaper and they stiffen like that. And so when I associate flour products and the film buildup, I associate something that can make paper mache. So I don't want that in my tummy, especially after I done went through all that trouble of getting it out. tasting that awful tasting stuff. So that's what we got in our gut. Oh, these are some more bug things about the bugs. So I'm not gonna go over that. I think this is the one, the zombie bugs. More of it, more stuff about the zombie bugs. I think you will get it. I think you get that. Now, let me see. Do I want to go over anything else about the symptoms? By symptoms, what I mean is that just results, things that I noticed. Okay. Now, the first thing I noticed, well, actually, the last thing I noticed was a no more burning tummy. Over the past 2 years or so, I was having, when I get hungry, my tummy would burn intensely. And when I had to go to the bathroom, it'll burn. And then out of random, it'll just burn for no reason, no matter what I ate, right? And only just now, this afternoon, I realized that I hadn't had a burning tummy in days. And I am grateful. It was, I didn't notice it until I was thinking about um, how I felt when I get hungry, and I realized that I didn't have that intense hunger pain. I couldn't even fast or even try to do an intermittent fast because my tummy would burn so bad. I had to put something in there to try to stop it from burning, but it only helped so much. Like I come and drink some water, I drink ice water, no matter what, it'll just burn. I get, and I'd have antacids, everything to just burn. It hasn't burned in days. I didn't even notice it wasn't burning because it didn't have no effect. I noticed when it did burn, but I hadn't felt it burn in days, and I could go without eating for a while without it having a bad effect. Like the first time, like one of the times I took it, one of the last times I took it, I went all day until 8 p.m. I eliminated that morning, but then I didn't have a big appetite till late. I drank 2 cups of tea, 1 cup earlier and then one a few hours later. And I only drink caffeinated tea in the mornings. So around 8 p.m. was when I ate. So that's something very unusual because I didn't have a big appetite. In throughout this journey, my appetite changed. I would eat. I prefer fruit and vegetable. Like that night, I was going to eat the beans. I was planning to eat the beans, but I wound up eating the fruit. And then another night, when I came back from the grocery store, I was planning to eat a heavier meal, but I was happy with a can of soup. And I know they're not organic and stuff, but I wanted to get used to this kind of eating, so I ate soup and a salad. And I wanted to, and I still intend to not go organic just yet until I can get myself trained to eat the organic food that I buy because I wouldn't even eat it if it would rot in the refrigerator before I even had a chance to get to it. So I'm going to go cheaper for now until I get myself in a good habit. Then I'll invest in it again. But anyway, I ate a salad with sliced tomatoes and a can of soup, and that's what I ate for supper and was happy with it. And that never would have happened. I might not eat as much normally, but I would eat something with a carb in it or in a meat. And actually, when you think about it, a carb and meat together, just make a wad of dough going in your tummy just to stick to your ribs, as they say. Now they do. Now you know what sticks to your ribs. At least I do. And I don't want it to stick to my ribs. I want it to go out. Now, even when I got rid got rid of the scones and the English muffins off of my grocery list, that doesn't mean I'm not going to eat them eventually one day um, later in the year. But I'm going to surround it with vegetables and fruit, and then I'll eat it. You know, same thing with meat. I'm going to surround them with vegetables and fruit, and then I expect to even not want meat like I used to because my heavy meal included meat, and I didn't really want that. So another symptom that I suddenly had was like a runny nose. I'm a postnasal drip kind of girl where it goes down and I spit it out. But this time I was having just runny nose symptoms. I thought that was odd. I thought the runny nose kind of thing was odd. The first time it was running was it was a thicker, clear kind of mucus that was coming, but it was like a child when they get a cold, that kind of mucus. But the next time it started running, it would be like on a winter day when you're outside in the winter and it's real cold and you get that runny nose. It won't stop because your nostrils are trying to cool the air before it gets to your lungs. I mean, trying to warm up the air. It's only got about a foot before it gets to your lungs. So it's doing everything it could bring your air intake, the body temperature. And it's just a runny drip that comes down. Well, I got that runny nose symptom and I don't understand why, except to think that it's just a small jump between your gastrointestinal tract to your bloodstream, and that takes a little bit to your lungs and the respiratory tract. So I don't know why I have a runny nose, but that's a symptom. And I already talked about cleaner mouth in the morning. And then I talked about my appetite and craving changes. And I hope I spelled that right. Craving changes, yeah, like a craving change. And I'm very glad about that because I haven't been craving carbs like I used to. That's significant because I've been craving carbs really a lot my whole life. Since I was a little girl, I used to eat starch out the box. Um, in the old days, they used to starch clothes, not with spray starch, but with chunks of starch bought in a box. I think it's called ARGO spelled. And you just buy this white starch that they would put in a pot and boil it. And then um, they would boil this starch in a pot, and then that's what they would put their white shirt in. You could only starch white clothes or very light colored clothes. Starch it, rinse it, and then it'll make the fabric stiff, and you'd iron it with a hot iron, not a steam iron. They have hot iron, so you dampen the clothes and iron it and be stiff. I still like my clothes starch, but now they use spray starch. But back then, I used to eat that starch. There are also stories of children who would go and find a chalk or caulk in the ground and eat it. But I would eat the starch. And in fact, a lot of people in my family ate it. And they kept a box of starch in the cabinet for that, just to eat by the handful. I was also happy eating a handful of raw oatmeal or uncooked oatmeal. So I remember eating that at like 3, 4, 5 years old as a small child. I liked it. So I always liked carbs, but they always made me sleepy too. I once went to sleep in a grocery store counter waiting in line, and the grocery store man had to wake me up to make me pay for my food. And he nicknamed me Sleepy. And I was about 7 years old. I remember that. And so I've always had a strange relationship with carbs. Right now I haven't been craving them. What I find myself being satisfied with is a piece of fruit or tear into a salad. I don't do vegetables. I ain't big on vegetables. Never was. Like fruit and melon and stuff like that, but never big on vegetables. But this helped. So that appetite changed, and I so much so that I changed my grocery list. And heaven knows it tastes awful. It tastes terrible. Whatever trick you got, like you have to take cold medicine. Remember cold medicine? You have to take the liquid cold medicine, how nasty that is. That's the kind of face you'll make when you take that stuff. It's bad. It is bad. Whatever tricks you use to take awful medicine, do them because you got to get it in you. It's good for you. So do what you have to get it inside of you. Well, the final result was it worked. Bottom line, it worked. I was planning to do more tests and things like that, but the results are so clear that I decided to forego the test because I wanted to see how much it thickened in the basin to see if it, how thick it got and things like that. But no, the symptoms are so clear that I don't even have to look no more. It speaks for itself with me. The symptoms are clear. And I plan to do this periodically for the rest of my life. Now, over the next year or so, I plan on taking more about once every few months till I'm satisfied that my intestinal tract is completely clean. And then I'll probably, taper off and see where I find a good balance for myself. Some people probably might want to take more, some less. I want to find a good balance and just have my majority of the work just my regular digestive tract doing what it's supposed to do for good health. Because I don't want to, have to keep depending on that to clean me because my digestive tract is supposed to do the work. Even this last batch, I decided that I'll let vegetable and fruit finish the cleaning process with this session. But I do plan on doing that. I hope I don't have to do it for 4 days. I mean, 4 cycles. I really only want to do it like once or at the most twice during a cycle. And I'm not going to do it again for about 90 days, I think, unless I determine that I need more. I'm not sure. We'll see. I didn't do this review, although I decided to do the review the morning after my mouth was clean. And I noticed that because I said, wow, that made a difference. But I wanted to wait to see what the week's worth of effects would be after my final dose at the fourth day. I mean, the fifth day, I wanted to wait. I think I finished it earlier this week, or like on Monday or so, but I wanted to see what the long-term permanent effects were. And so I'm satisfied with that. Other thing I noticed was that my tummy was smaller. Instead of it being rounded, it's kind of got a little hollow there, a touch. And the other thing I noticed was when I put on my socks for the past few days, my ankles aren't quite as swollen. So I thought that was important because that's I've been noticing that. That's important, and that's when I decided not to even further experiment with the mixture itself because my results were so clear. Some appetite changed, ankles not as oh excuse me, ankles not as bad, joints a little bit less painful, that kind of stuff. And the only thing that I found that helped my joints was moringa versus and I think goldenrod, turmeric and chickweed and all of that didn't work on me, but moringa did. And it feels like I almost felt like I had taken moringa, but what in fact hadn't taken anything like that. But my joints experienced periodic times when my joints didn't hurt as much. And so my results are clear. I don't intend to let this go, and I intend to get more stuff. I might not write a review about it, but I intend to get more things. And because I'm pleased, I'm very pleased with it. So I do have the link in the description box, and I think you need to jump on it. I'd also recommend a brother patent his formula if he can, because I can very well see that the industry would change or modify their stuff to his because his was a good, no adverse effects, not a one. Very good. So that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about it. I uncovered my stuff. So do what you have to get it down in you. This has been Gwen. Good afternoon, power and blessings, family. Okay, I'm done and stop.